swim set today? So what's the swim set today?
Today is a swim set that we've been executing for a little while now. Well, like over a month now, pretty regularly. It is 850s on a minute to 4 ones on a minute 40 to 2 by 200 on 3 to 4 ones on 140 to 850s on a minute. Super simple. One of the big changes I've made for a lot of the swim sets is to give myself some adequate rest. For the longest time I got infatuated with doing really tight pace times, and that you always have to be basically like swimming threshold. And I mean, there's a time and a place for that, of course. Got to be, work your threshold a bit. But the old saying is, if you don't swim fast, how are you ever going to swim fast? And so constantly I was basically cutting rest and cutting the speed and always swimming slow and always swimming like 117 to 120 per 100 meters. And that's garbage. I mean, that's not even going to get you into the second pack in a professional Ironman if you hold 120 per 100. So now I've been doing much more high-end stuff and getting progressively more comfortable with it. And so now, in my mind, I don't think you should really ever swim any slower than 115 per 100. 115s will get you somewhere in a 70.3, around 24 something. And if you're able to hold that for an Ironman, now we're talking. Now you probably swim somewhere in the range of 50 low or maybe even 49 high if you can hold that for 3.8 kilometers. And so that's the absolute slowest I'll allow myself to swim these days. And in a yards pool, that's equivalent to about 108. That's the slowest. So back in the day, that was the fastest when I was doing tight pace time stuff. So that's one of the big changes. Well, I've been battling a cold for today's day 10. And trained through it, which potentially has prolonged it, but unfortunately, when you got a race coming up, got to strike some sort of a balance between recovering and letting the body heal and also providing a stimulus. So anyways, the swim this morning didn't go very good because I'm not coughing and stuff anymore, but still feel a bit congested in my chest. And so in the hypoxic nature of swimming, not good. So swimming's a great indicator of how you're actually feeling, because it's just so receptive to, neurological and even light quantities of fatigue. So this bike workout will be a little bit reduced intensity than what was planned, so as not to dig myself a grave. So as planned, the workout is 12 minutes at kind of high-end threshold, low-end VO2, which right now is probably somewhere around 435, 440, somewhere in that range. And normally I do these kind of on a self-selected interval, i.e.
I'll assign the 12 minutes and I'll give 6 minutes of recovery, and you can take it however you want. But my coach, David, thinks it's probably a little too taxing to do it that way. And this particular one, because it's so heavy, that we should probably set more of a fixed interval. So I'm going to do it as 6 times 2 minutes at around, let's say, 430. We'll see, with 1 minute recovery. So it ends up being the same, 12 and 6, but not the massive intervals as I sometimes would do. So then in to some mid-range kind of threshold stuff, which right now is around 400 watts. So I'll look then to go straight into 20 minutes in and around 400 and I will do these self-selected with 8 minutes allowed recovery. And then finally we'll end with the low end of the threshold, 25 minutes at 380, 385, and I'll allow 7 minutes total recovery. So you'll notice it's all threshold. And why? Well, 70.3 racing, the name of the game, threshold, threshold, threshold. Sustain threshold. Get comfortable at threshold. Raise your threshold, and you'll be able to push progressively more power on the bike. So, at this stage of the season, I guess the term is specificity, and with kind of the intervals are resembling the race, and so that's what we're doing. And what will I look to target in the next 70.3? Somewhere at least 350, 360, if you're doing your low end threshold stuff at 380. So we'll see how it goes. Got to listen to the body too. And the body definitely is not fully healed yet, so don't want to prolong this too much longer. So the workout went as good as I think it could have on the back end of the illness. And first round I deviated a little bit because I felt pretty good, and I didn't train very good last week, so I deviated a little bit. Still got the right work done. First round was the 12 minutes. Did all 12 at 430 or better off of 3 minutes recovery. Then straight into 20 minutes at 405 or better off of 4 minutes recovery. And then straight into 25 minutes at 385 or better off of 4 minutes recovery. So that's 57 minutes at 385 or above off of 11 minutes recovery. So, what is that? A little less than 20% work to rest ratio average. So, I mean, that's threshold. That's the name of the game. Don't need too much recovery. Just want to keep hitting that zone over and over and over. So, better than last week. Still feel that there's more to come. Unfortunately, this year we're going to run out of time. The season will be over before we get to peak, but I am excited to take some recovery and then get back into it and then get up to some new bests. But I am really happy considering we're really only 5 months into this season, really. Things are progressing really well, and after this 4-week block, definitely will be ready and excited to get out there on another start line in Indian Wells, which is a time trial specialist course, dead flat, just pure power. So, can't wait.